Every security vendor right now is screaming the same thing. AI super hackers are coming for you. And look, some of that is marketing. A lot of it is marketing. But some of it is real. The biggest thing AI changed about cybercrime is not that every attacker suddenly became a genius. The biggest thing AI changed is volume. The B team attackers just got promoted. And that matters because the same old weaknesses are now being found faster, targeted faster, and abused by more people. I want to draw the honest line between the hype and the risk. No scary movie soundtrack, no machines taking over, and definitely no technical walkthroughs of malware or attack methods. This is a defense conversation. If you run a business, manage IT, or are responsible for security in any way, AI does change your priorities. But probably not the way the headlines make it sound. The real story is not AI created a brand new kind of cybercrime. The real story is AI made the existing cybercrime economy faster, cheaper, and easier to scale. So I'm going to break this into 4 parts. What AI actually changed, what it did not change, why defenders are not helpless, and the exact security work I would prioritize this week. Let's start with the honest threat model. What did AI actually change? First, phishing got better. For years, one of the lazy pieces of security advice was watch for bad grammar. That advice is basically dead. Attackers can now generate polished, convincing messages in almost any language. They can make them sound formal, casual, urgent, friendly, legal, executive, technical, or boring. And boring matters. The best phishing emails do not look like movie villain emails. They look like invoices. They look like HR updates. They look like a vendor asking a totally normal question at the worst possible time. AI helps with that because it removes friction. An attacker no longer needs to be fluent in your language. They do not need to be a great writer. They do not need to spend 20 minutes crafting one message. They can generate 100 decent messages quickly, test what works, and keep improving. That is the first real shift. Quality plus volume. The second shift is speed. When a new vulnerability becomes public, there is always a race. Defenders are trying to understand whether they are affected, prioritize the fix, test the patch, and roll it out. Attackers are trying to find exposed systems before that happens. AI helps compress that timeline. So the old mindset of, we'll patch this weekend, is getting riskier, especially for anything exposed to the internet. For internet-facing systems, the clock is less forgiving than it used to be. In some cases, patch this weekend is becoming patch tonight. Not panic, just a patching process that matches the speed of the threat. Now let's take the temperature down, because this is where a lot of the marketing gets ridiculous. AI did not change the basic ways attackers get in. They still need an opening. And most of those openings are very familiar. Stolen credentials, phishing, unpatched internet-facing systems, misconfigured cloud services, weak remote access, over-permissioned accounts, no meaningful backup strategy. Those were problems before AI. They are problems after AI. AI can help attackers move faster, write better, and scale more cheaply. But it does not magically make a patched, well-configured MFA-protected, backed-up business collapse on contact. If someone steals a password, multi-factor authentication still matters. If an email looks convincing, a payment verification process still matters. If a vulnerability is being actively exploited, patching still matters. If a laptop gets compromised, endpoint detection still matters. If ransomware hits, backups still matter. The fundamentals did not become obsolete. They become more urgent. So when you hear someone say AI malware changes everything, ask a better question. What specific control does this bypass? Does it bypass MFA? Does it bypass patching? Does it bypass backups? Does it bypass a real approval process for payments and sensitive changes? Usually the answer is no. Usually the answer is that AI makes the attack cheaper, faster, or more convincing. That is serious, but it is not unstoppable. Here's the line I want you to remember, because this is the real twist. You were never too small to hack. Now you are not even too small to find. Small businesses used to assume that they were protected by obscurity. Why would anyone come after us? But modern attacks are not always hand-picked. Many are scanned, sorted, and attempted at scale. AI makes that easier. Reconnaissance is the process of figuring out what exists, what is exposed, what a company uses, who works there, what systems might be reachable, and where the soft spots might be. That kind of research used to take time. Now more of it can be automated, summarized, and repeated across thousands of targets. So if your business has exposed systems, weak login protections, stale software, or predictable processes, you do not have to be famous to show up on someone's list. That is the practical change, not magic, discovery at scale. There is another side of this ledger that does not get enough attention. Defenders get AI too. In fact, many organizations already have AI-assisted defenses in their environment, whether they think of them that way or not. Your Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace email filtering is not just a static list of bad words. Modern endpoint tools are not just looking for one exact known file. Security products increasingly look for patterns, behavior, anomalies, reputation signals, and combinations of activity that do not look normal. That does not make them perfect. Please do not hear AI defense and translate that into set it and forget it. That is how people get hurt. But this is not a one-sided arms race where attackers got a spaceship and defenders got a clipboard. Defenders with the basics in place, plus modern tools, plus a process for responding quickly, are not helpless. The organizations I worry about are the ones that were already behind before AI entered the conversation. No MFA, no patch urgency, no inventory, no tested backups, no clear owner for security decisions, and no process for verifying unusual requests. AI did not create that risk, it exposed it. And on the positive side, defenders can use AI for useful, boring work too. Summarizing alerts, reviewing policies, creating tabletop exercises, drafting awareness examples that match the business, helping audit configurations. As long as a qualified person reviews the output, AI is not a security program, but it can be a useful assistant inside of one. So what should you actually do this week? First, kill the bad grammar equals phishing advice. If your team still thinks phishing is easy to spot because it has typos, weird spacing, and awkward wording, update that training. The typo era is over. Modern phishing can be clean, polite, and specific. The new advice is not look for bad writing. The new advice is verify the request. If someone asks you to change payment information, verify it through a known channel. If someone asks for credentials, stop. If someone creates urgency around money, access, legal pressure, or executive authority, slow down. The defense is process, not vibes. Second, tighten your MFA. If you do not have multi-factor authentication on email, remote access, admin accounts, finance systems, and cloud services, that is the project. Not someday, now. And wherever possible, use stronger MFA methods instead of the weakest options. The point is simple. If AI helps someone steal a password, that password should not be enough. Third, patch internet-facing systems faster. You do not need to treat every internal update like the building is on fire. But anything exposed to the internet deserves a sharper process. Firewalls, VPNs, remote access tools, web applications, cloud services. Anything that outsiders can reach should have an owner, an inventory, and a patching expectation that reflects the current threat environment. Fourth, make sure backups are real. A backup that has never been restored is more of a hope than a control. You need backups that are protected from attackers, separated from the systems they might compromise, and tested often enough that you know they work. AI does not make ransomware magical, but it can contribute to more attempts, better targeting, and faster pressure. Backups are still one of the controls that turn a catastrophe into a very bad week. And fifth, pay attention to what is being exploited now, not what is theoretically interesting, not what has the coolest logo, what is actually being used against real organizations right now. A great place to start is CISA's Known Exploited Vulnerabilities catalog. That list is not perfect, but it is very useful because it focuses on vulnerabilities that are known to be exploited in the wild. That is the kind of threat-informed defense most organizations need more of. Less abstract fear, more practical prioritization. So here's the short version. Stop teaching people that phishing means bad grammar. Make sure MFA is on for the systems that matter. Auto-update or rapidly patch anything internet-facing. Verify sensitive requests by process, not by gut feeling. And subscribe to free CISA alerts so you know what is actively being exploited. That list is not glamorous, but it is the work. And in security, the boring work is often what saves you. AI is changing cybercrime. It is making attacks faster, cheaper, cleaner, and easier to scale. But the answer is not panic. The answer is to get serious about the controls that already mattered. AI-written malware still needs a way in. AI-written phishing still needs someone to trust the wrong request. Your job is to make those opportunities rare, expensive, and boring. If you want to know what attackers are actually exploiting right now, run a free threat scope scan at the first link below. And watch this video on the CISA Known Exploited Vulnerabilities catalog next, because knowing what is being exploited this week is more useful than being scared of every headline. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.